What's up, everybody? This is MJ, and I'm coming to you live from my family room because change is good, and I just felt like being somewhere else. But it's more, what's more important than where I am is what I'm going to be talking about today, because each and every one of you who is out there who has an aspiration to become a black female entrepreneur, a business mogul, or whatever that is, everybody out there that wants to be a business owner is not cut out to be a business owner. And so today we're going to be talking about what are those hallmarks, what are those traits of today's independent black female mogul. It's not a day or two that goes by when I don't see a new article about a business being opened by a black female, whether it's an article on the internet or something in my Facebook news feed. And it's so inspiring because right now, black people in general and black females in particular are going through an awakening, an exploration, whatever you want to call it, to where many of us are stepping into our greatness. And so for you who aspire to be entrepreneurs, you are in the right place. You are at the right time, but you want to make sure that you have what it takes to be this black female mogul that you dream of, because it's easy to look at the Rihannas, the Beyoncés, the Oprahs, the Michelle Obamas, whoever it is that you look up to and say, I want that. Or maybe it's not even a celebrity. Maybe it's somebody in your community or somebody whose ad has fallen through your news feed and say, I want to be like her. I want to have what she has, not in a jealous kind of way, not in a covetous kind of way, but in a way of being inspired by what they're doing without, though, really understanding what types of characteristics those people have that succeed. Because it takes more than saying, I want to own my own business to make it successful and to be able to survive for the long term. The statistics show that 3/4 or more of all small businesses ever started closed their doors in the first several years. And so with that kind of statistic hanging over your head, you want to make sure that you are equipped, not only empowered and encouraged, but equipped with what you need to survive, because it is rough out here. As an old friend of mine used to say, it is rough out here in these streets. And so we're going to talk today about what are those hallmark characteristics or traits that make people successful. And it's usually not what people think. People think it's luck sometimes, or they think they're just naturally gifted. They think that they just had an opportunity. They were just really smart. There's all these things. And sometimes those things are a part of the recipe. But I'm here to tell you that what you need to have are traits that you are in control of. You can have these traits, even if you don't exhibit them now, you can begin to exhibit those traits now. You don't have to be a natural entrepreneur to succeed as one. You don't have to have parents who are entrepreneurs or have grown up always wanting to start a business to succeed. Now, if you were paying attention during the International Melanated Liberation Summit that happened during Women's History Month, a lot of the women I interviewed, and you can go back and watch those interviews, they did say, I've always wanted to own my own business. I always want to do these things. But let me tell you something. You don't have to be that person. You could have grown up aspiring to have a job. Nothing wrong with it. I spent quite an adult working for other people. Nothing wrong with aspiring to succeed in corporate America or in government or whatever. But you don't have to have always wanted to be an entrepreneur to do well as one. But you have to have these key traits in order to succeed. And these are not necessarily in any order, but if you have a notepad, write them down because we're going to be going through them pretty quick. The first characteristic or hallmark of today's independent black female mogul is that she is committed. She sticks to her guns. What do I mean by that? Glad you asked. It's easy. Like I said, it's easy to say, I want to start my own business and work for myself, while you know deep down on the inside, you're leaving yourself an escape hatch. The escape hatch being, well, if this doesn't succeed, I can always go back to my job. I can always get a better job. A lot of times when I speak to women on the breakthrough calls that I have for free consultations, a lot of them do say that, yeah, I want to have my business, but my job is not that bad. It's okay. If this doesn't work out, I can just always keep my job. And again, nothing wrong with that. But without that level of commitment that the today's independent black female mogul has, you're not going to be able to sustain yourself during the difficult times, during the vicissitudes of life. Because guess what? Even the most successful entrepreneurs, they have their ups and they have their downs. And depending on what level of success they are at, their downs can be way down. Just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean it hurts any less when you lose a lot of money, or when things don't go well, or when somebody steals from you, or, when an idea you have falls flat, or when a vendor or a partner doesn't come through, and so that makes your business fail, or not be able to keep up on its commitment to its customers, whatever those things are. And when those difficult times come, if you're not committed to entrepreneurship, if you're not committed to being self-employed, being independent, it's not to say you can't succeed, but whenever, how it is when you have a plan B, how you will let go of what plan A is a lot more quickly when you have a back door, when you have an escape hatch. The thing is, human beings, the way we are designed, our psychology is that we will default to the path of least resistance, just like water. Water follows a path going downhill, wherever gravity is taking it. So if you don't have that commitment, you'll be like that water, to where you're going to go to what's easiest. It'll be easier to talk yourself out of continuing the course if you're not committed to it. And so what I'm talking about when I say committed is not necessarily the one business plan or one business idea that you have. The commitment I'm talking about is to entrepreneurship in general. Because then, if this doesn't work out, it's not that I failed. Maybe that business idea failed, but I can continue because I'm committed to working for myself, committed to staying the course of entrepreneurship. So I'll just find another way to do it. Having that mentality and not seeing your job or living off of somebody else, or whatever the plan B is that you have, when you let go of all of that, and it's do or die for this right here, when knowing that the idea of working for somebody else, because that's usually what it is, you don't want to work for somebody else. When the idea of working for yourself is more fearful, or I'm sorry, working for somebody else, is more fearful than what you will have to overcome to work for yourself, that's when you will succeed. When you are committed to escaping your cubicle prison, as I call it, and having your independence, you will be able to conquer anything, no matter what those ups and downs look like. So the first one that you have to have is commitment to working for yourself, commitment to entrepreneurship, commitment to self-employment. No matter what happens, you're going to do it. But it's not enough to just be blindly committed to it, but not know what you're doing. Because you can be blindly committed to it and still be stuck at your job, still not be making any money. And raise your hand on the inside if that's you, where you're committed, you want to do it, but you have no idea what you're doing, and the sales are not coming in. You've been doing your little side hustle for weeks, months, years, and you're $50 worth of stuff here, a couple hundred here, that even $1,000 here, but you can't even pay rent with $1,000, and I can't leave my $50,000-$60,000 job, or less or more, based on these inconsistent sales. And so the next hallmark of today's independent black female mogul is that she is a lifelong learner, right? You've heard that term, lifelong learner. And what that means, especially for a person my age and beyond, is that you never stop being willing to be taught. You never stop looking for that edge, or for more knowledge, or for more information that you can turn into success in your business. In particular, talking about is boutiques and shops in the retail business. You have to be willing to admit what you don't know, that you don't know what you don't know, and be willing to learn, and be willing to be coached, and be willing to be taught by somebody who has walked that road ahead of you. Now, I'm one of these people that's really curious, right? Whenever I don't know something, it's not enough for me to say I don't know. I always have to look it up. And guess what? We are blessed today. Where's my phone? We are blessed today to have the technology where, unlike in the past, I grew up with, 26 volumes of World Book Encyclopedia, right? And that was the sum total pretty much of knowledge that could be at your fingertips unless you went to the library. Now we have phones that can access the internet. That's how you're watching me right now, where any question you have in your mind, you can find out the answer, right? And I do that. Whenever I want to know something, I'll look it up. Back when I watched television, I would be laying in my bed watching TV. I would have my laptop open, probably on Facebook or something. I would also have my phone in my hand and I would be looking up stuff they're talking about on TV. If I didn't understand the joke or the reference on the television show, I would look it up. But here's what's true. It's not enough to just gather information off of the internet, right? Sometimes, as you know, the internet is wildly unreliable. Any question you ask, there could be somebody who says this is the answer, and then you can find another website that says something else is the answer. And these could be two totally different concepts. But the fact is, the first step is that you have to be willing, open, curious enough to find out what you don't know. But then it's not enough to just do that. You have to be around people who have been where you want to go, who know how to get where you want to go, and sit down, shut up, and listen to them and do what they tell you to do. Sometimes we as people, we as women, can be so sure that we're right, so sure we already know, I already tried that, I already did it, I don't need to do that, that we miss the boat. We miss our opportunities to learn. We miss our opportunities to grow. We miss our opportunities, period, right? Because we're not willing to ask for help and then submit to that help. A lot of times, I'm going to use a biblical reference just because I'm a church girl, but for those of you who remember the story of Naaman the leper, he didn't understand why the prophet told him to dip in that muddy water 7 times. Each time he got up, the first 6 times, nothing happened. Only the 7th time did he have his healing. But them first 6 times, he had to be coachable. He had to be, and I'm sure he had doubts. He didn't understand why he had to be in that water. He didn't understand why 7 times. Why not the first time? Why can't you do the work? And it worked without me getting in the water. But he had to be teachable and coachable. So just like Naaman, you need to be willing to dip into the water 7 times if that's what your mentor tells you to do, because they've already been healed and they know how to get the healing for you. So as Black women specifically, we have to be willing to ask for help and then follow what the help tells you to do. These people who are out here successful, especially if it happened in a short amount of time, because success can be fast these days. The way technology moves, it don't take 10 years. It don't take 5 years. It don't have to take 2 or 3 years. It can happen seemingly overnight, but I guarantee they were following success strategies that somebody else did. They weren't reinventing the wheel. When you have to reinvent the wheel and do everything and learn everything the hard way, instead of learning from other people, it will take you 5 or 10 years to turn a profit in your boutique. Meanwhile, you're still sitting in your cubicle at work. So you have to be a lifelong learner and willing to learn and submit to the teaching of somebody who has walked before you. So we've talked about commitment. We've talked about lifelong learning. What's the third trait, MJ? Glad you asked. This is, okay, so I said earlier that they weren't necessarily in any type of order, but this is actually my favorite trait. I think it's the most important one, right? And it is that you're going to make a way out of no way. Again, for my church references, you know how we say that in church. You make a way out of no way. The independent Black female moguls of today know how to make lemonade out of their lemons. They know how to MacGyver any situation. When they don't have what they need, they're willing to get it. They don't let that stop them. They know how to go out there and beat the bushes and get what they want, whether it's money, because guess what? It takes money to make money. That's a fact. Anybody thinking that they're going to make $1 million in sales without having to invest anything, they are not telling the truth. That's not how it works when you are an entrepreneur. You have to invest money and spend money to make money. And so when you find out that you need something for your business and it's monetary, or sometimes it's just time intensive, or it's knowledge based, or it's whatever, and you're willing to go out there and get it, that will get you further than anything else in business. Again, a lot of times people say, oh, I want to make $1 million. I want to have a 6-figure boutique and sell all this stuff and all this. But then you say, well, how much have you actually invested in your business? And they're talking hundreds or maybe $1,000 every so often. It's like, what makes you think you can make $1 million, but you're not putting some serious money into it? That is what today's independent Black female mogul knows. It takes money to make money. And is it scary? Yes. And do you do it anyway? Yes. It's never going to be that entrepreneurship is comfortable. The comfortable people are in jobs. And even that is uncomfortable. But if that's what you choose to do, that's fine. I chose a different type of risk because let me just give a little sidebar. It's risky no matter what you do. Life is risky. Going to a house every day is risky, but guess what? You do it anyway. Having a job and letting somebody else be in control of your family's destiny, whether they put money into your account every 2 weeks or not, that is risky. Working for yourself is risky, but guess what? You won't fire yourself. You're going to show up and do what it takes. But because it's risky, or part of it being risky is that you have to put stuff out, and sometimes it doesn't come back exactly the way you thought it would. And so what? Sometimes it's scary. Sometimes you're going to invest in things, ideas, inventory, you know, websites, whatever it is that it takes to run your boutique, and it might not work. There are no guarantees. 2020 has showed us this. All the years of business has showed us there are no guarantees. So if you're looking for guarantees, entrepreneurship is not your boat. If you're looking for risk-free, entrepreneurship is not your boat. And if you're looking for a cheap path, entrepreneurship is not your boat. You're going to have to find a way to make work what you want. You're not going to be able to get $1 million payday, or even if it's hundreds of thousands, whatever your dream is, just by talking about it and hoping somebody's going to sit out here and give it to you. They're not. You have to be willing to spend the money. You have to be willing to spend the time. You have to be willing to, spend the energy on your dream. And a resourceful Black female entrepreneur is willing to find it. You say you don't have enough time. You make time. You give up other things, not to where your life is unbearable, but you sacrifice, or I don't like to even think about it as a sacrifice, but you decide what's more important. I like the word prioritize instead of sacrifice. Sacrifice sounds like something's being killed or you're missing out on something that you need. But when you decide that your future, your dreams are what you want, then that other stuff, you don't see it as losing out. You see it as giving up something that wasn't important to you anyway. But being resourceful says you're going to find the money to do what you want. You're going to find the time. You're going to find the energy. You're going to find the knowledge, and you're going to find the wherewithal to put it all together in your boutique, in your shop, and you're going to do it now. 2021 is a third or a fourth of the way over. And if you had a dream on January the 1st and you're still at dream stage and you haven't moved forward, it's time for the fourth trait for you. That fourth trait that you have to have, that fourth hallmark, is the ability to know what you want and decide what you want and move forward with it. Being decisive is so key to a successful entrepreneurship. There are 100 decisions you have to make every single day, and 100 is a very modest number as a CEO. And every decision cannot be, well, I don't know, let me think about it for 2 weeks and figure it out. You'll miss out. You'll miss the boat. You'll miss the deal. You'll miss the opportunity. You'll miss the employee. You'll miss the purchase. You'll miss the customer. You have to be able to, kind of like the red pill and the blue pill in Matrix, pick one and go with it. You have to trust your first mind. Trust your gut. Women, we have a gut that men don't have. And I'm not talking about a physical gut. Now I'm talking about that instinct that for my churchy people, it's maybe the still small voice. For everybody, it's just that nudging or that feeling you have when you have hit gold or when this is the right path for you. Are you sometimes wrong? Yes. Can you survive that? Yes, you can survive a decision that's not the best one. What you won't survive is not making a decision, which is a decision, but sitting and wavering and saying, well, I don't know, this sounds good, but I don't know. When are you ever going to know? You have to move forward. Everybody who has had a successful boutique, shop, retail experience had to move forward on some stuff that they were like, I don't know. Nobody knows the future, but they were decisive. They said, this is what I want, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to find a way to make it work. I'm committed to it, and I'm willing to learn. Being decisive is going to allow you to take advantage of so many more opportunities. Think about it. One of my best examples for this is, okay, you know how, at least in the past, the earlier, well, I guess it's still true, the earlier you book a vacation, a flight, a hotel, usually the cheaper it is. The closer you get to the date that you want to travel, the more expensive it is. So if you're out there checking on your vacation 6 months before the date. Let's say for spring break that just went by, you're in last September, October looking at it, and you see it's dirt cheap, but you wait. I don't know. I don't know if I want to go to Fort Lauderdale. I don't know if I want to go to Cancun. I don't know. The price goes up, 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 up. And yes, there's some times when they might have a sale, but the bottom line is the longer you wait, the more you have to pay. The same is true for this situation with your business, with your boutique or shop. The longer you wait, the longer you sit in I don't know or piddling around with that small dollar stuff you're doing, hustling out of the trunk of your car, the more it's going to cost you. And I'm not just talking about the direct costs of the business. I'm also talking about the costs of everything that you're not experiencing because you're not in your business, and the things you are experiencing because you're still stuck in a job that you hate. All the money that you're not making, all the freedom you're not experiencing, all of the anguish and, all that mental stuff that goes on Monday morning when you got to go back in there, and Tuesday morning when you got to go back in there, and Wednesday, Thursday, and you live for the weekend. All of that takes a toll. And when you're not showing up as the best you because you can't make a decision about getting what you need to have this dream of yours, it affects your family, your spouse, if you're your kids, if you're a parent, everybody around you, your friends, and it affects you health-wise. Women, we have to stop trying to pour into everything and everybody else and not nurturing ourselves and ignoring the emotional toll that it takes on us when we are not walking in our purpose, when we're not being true to ourselves. We talk about transparency and being authentic. That's a word people throw around. But how authentic are you being when you're not walking in the thing that you've been talking about for 10 years? Yes, you should open that bakery. Yes, you should have your skincare line and open it on a major scale. Stop just selling 10 or 12 products a month and start selling 1,000 or 1,200 of them mugs and have a real business. Yes, you should be doing those things. In the every time you tell yourself no, it eats away at you on the inside. And I'm not telling you what I think, I'm telling you what I know. Every time you say to yourself, this is what I want to do. Oh, yes, MJ, I want to start my business. I can't stand another day in my job, but I'm scared. I don't know. I don't know if I should buy that. I don't know if I should invest in that help. I don't know if I should do it. Every time you look your dream in the eye and then look away back to what seems safe and what seems easier, you make it that much harder to ever follow through on it. And this is true. Stop telling yourself no. Be decisive and say, yes, this is what I want. And I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to go find out. And I'm going to find out quickly. And I'm going to take on the risk. And I'm going to take the chances. And I'm going to follow my dream. You have to do that, because the older you get, and I don't know how old you are. You might be in your 20s, your 30s. You might be in your fabulous 40s or your phenomenal 50s or beyond that. I don't know who's watching right now. But the longer it takes you to step into your dream, the less likely it is that you will ever do it. And I say that in love, because I know you think you can always do it. But the older you get, somebody who I love very much told me not long ago that when they were younger, it was easier to take chances. It was easier to jump out there. But now that they're in their 60s, it's harder to do that. When you were young, you could do it. And I'm not saying you can't do things when you're older. That's not what I'm saying. You definitely don't for granted that it's going to continue to be as easy as it is. It's never going to be any easier than it is right now to start your boutique and your shop, but not just run out there and buy a bunch of stuff and start a Shopify. If you're talking about building a 6 or 7 figure retail retail enterprise, you're talking about becoming a mogul where you can invest in other businesses and all of that kind of stuff. It's going to take more than a Shopify site and some random Facebook Lives on your personal page to make that work. And if you are ready to embody all of these traits I've talked about today and put them to use in a real business that's going to allow you the freedom, the income, the impact, and everything that you want through the retail space where you are selling the things that you love and doing life the way you want to do it every single day, and you just don't know how to get started or what to do, then I invite you now to reach out and book a call with me, a free breakthrough call where you're going to get your breakthrough. Because when we get on the phone, we're going to talk about What's holding you back? What are the traits that you want to be stronger in? What is the talk that you've been telling yourself about? Why not now? Why you have to keep playing small? Nothing breaks my heart more than telling when I hear somebody saying, I'm gonna start out small. No, you're not. You're gonna start out big if you're working with me. But what are those things you tell yourself to make you feel safe? And then what's the dream? Like, where are you trying to go? What are you really serious about achieving in 2021? And we're going to map out a recipe to get you there as quickly and as profitably as possible in your shop or boutique. And if it's a fit for you and I to work together to get that started, we're going to get it popping right off the bat and get you going. Like I said, it's never going to be any easier. Book your call at www.melaniehunter with 2ls.com/chat. And again, remember I said decisiveness. You know something is resonating with you right now that you need to make this move. Go ahead and book your call. My calendar's open up for the next couple of days. I've got some people that's already booked, but my calendar will open up for you if you make that first step. melaniehunter.com/chat. If you are ready to start your shop or boutique in 2021, book your call. Be sure to fill out the application that pops up afterwards to completely book your call, and then we'll have a conversation. Again, it's been my pleasure to come to you live from my family room. I hope that you are in the process right now of booking your call. If you need help starting your boutique, your freedom boutique right now, tune in the next time. I think I'm coming back on Wednesday with another training, but don't wait on that. Listening to me talk is not going to help you get to your freedom. Making that next step is what's going to get you to your freedom. So book your call right now and we'll chat soon. Take care. Bye-bye.